I met Nathan Toler. He walked into the Wellness Center and introduced us here to the QXCI machine that does a diagnostic and biofeedback. My first experience with the QXCI machine with Nathan was so interesting. I really got a lot of diagnostic information about parasites.
Laura Markinson also had the same vision, so she actually opened up a holistic center in the space where I originally wanted to. She also was on the machine.
My digestion was not working quite right, and I've had some issues with my gallbladder.
I was having mild heart attacks. The doctors wanted to do exploratory open heart surgery, and at that point I couldn't. If the Western medicine couldn't do it, it couldn't be done.
If you're limited to me as a nurse, looking at all of your physical structures, doing a head-to-toe assessment, and if it looks okay, unfortunately, I'm going to tell you you're okay and send you home.
This is where the alternative medicine fits really nicely.
Every time I was ingesting vitamin B12 and vitamin C, my liver was treating it as a toxin. And a couple minutes later, she found out that I was also allergic to red ants. And that compound was hitting my heart, and that was causing these heart attacks. The practitioner put me on a 48-hour fast, and my liver corrected itself because I wasn't ingesting every day this compound. This is the actual device right here. This is the EPFX QXCI machine. And what's going to happen is I'm going to hook Patrick up here to the electrodes. We're going to measure the oscillation of the body, every frequency, and then we're going to bring the information here into the computer. What we can do is we can hook you up to electrodes on your ankles, your wrist, and of course across your head, and we measure the oscillation of the frequency in your entire body. Now, what we can do with that is we can bring that information into the computer and energetically introduce over 8,000 different compounds of energy signatures in your body to see how your body reacts. So we like to measure through quantitative results voltage, the amperage, the resistance, the hydration, the oxidation, the proton and electron pressures. We call it VARHOPE, and a lot of Western terminology also uses the similar acronym.
If a doctor wanted to analyze what was going on inside your body, they could only use blood tests, an MRI or a CT scan, x-rays. These very simple diagnostic tests only allow you to diagnose things that you can visibly see. With a QXCI machine, it allows you to look at all the cellular functioning throughout your whole body.
It's great for measuring the things like your liver, your kidneys, your lungs. We can actually go in and test and measure the electronic frequency of any organ to determine if there is an abnormality or not. And then, if there is an abnormality, we can introduce the counter frequency to bring that specific organ or your whole body up back to homeostasis, so your body can naturally start to heal itself. And what we're going to do is determine what's out of homeostasis alignment, and we're going to do some therapy to reintroduce that energy back into the body to get those organs and get your whole body back up to the homeostasis level. The main thing I like to get across is homeostasis. And homeostasis is when your body is in line, energy's flowing, everything's working the way it should. And homeostasis is a balance. It's a definitive line of where all the organs are working together. So if a free radical or a disease or bacteria gets in your body's natural response is to fight it, to get it out of your system. Well, what's happened is with the foods we intake, like processed foods, some prescription medications, the phase angle, the actual homeostasis line tends to drop. And when we get down here, your body's energy naturally wants to bring you back up to homeostasis because that's where we're supposed to be. But what happens is, as we're down here on this lower level of homeostasis, if a pathogen or a bacteria or free radical gets in your body is compromised not to attack it so quickly. So you're actually increasing the risk of being susceptible to disease when you're out of alignment. Cool. Okay, now that the machine's calibrated to his energetic signature, we're going to do 3 sessions of 5 minutes each just on fungus, worms, parasites.
I've been to a lot of exotic places like Bangladesh. I've had friends that almost died from dengue fever, dysentery, hepatitis. Now, when I came back from these trips, I still was in a great shape, but I tried to get medical attention and doctors wouldn't see me.
Patrick, we're done with the 3-minute test. What I'm going to do is start to review the information and see if I can find some commonality of things that might be happening in your system. Ready? And what we're going to do is determine what's out of homeostasis alignment, and we're going to do some therapy to reintroduce that energy back into the body, to get those organs and to get your whole body back up to the homeostasis level. It seems like there's just a few different strains, but you're still on your cleanse. I've gone through the initial report, and it's significantly better than last time. Your voltage and your amperage, your hydration and your oxidation are all up within normal parameters, but we still have problems with parasites, fungus, and a couple tapeworms. The first therapy that I'd like to do is the spinal therapy that we were just talking about. So what I'm going to do is just kind of relax, take a breath, and this will be about a minute. Here we go.
Okay.
Now what the machine's doing is it's going through each specific vertebrae in the back and checking the reactance to the energy that we're putting in there. And if there's an abnormality, it's going to try and automatically correct by introducing the counter energy to bring the spine in line. We're going to do 3 sessions of 5 minutes each just on fungus, worms, parasites. How you feeling? You okay?
Yeah, I feel great.
And let's get the head. Do you have any questions, Patrick?
No, that was really easy.
No discomfort?
I didn't feel a thing.
Great.
My name is Nicholas Iorio. I'm a captain in the United States Army, and my branch is the infantry. I've been in the military for almost 7 years now, and I have a long line of military in my family. I was assigned a platoon, and I had the opportunity to deploy to 2 different combat zones while I was serving here in Hawaii. Was really working in a position of a captain while I was a first lieutenant, and while I was deployed, I ended up being injured by a gunshot wound from behind. And since then, I've had a number of different surgeries. I think altogether I'm at 9 right now in 1 year. As I returned home and I was dealing with a lot of my stress, I was being prescribed a lot of drugs, and I could go on a list that's easily 10 deep. Let me just try Vicodin, Valium, Trazodone, Phenergan, Effexor, Xanax. I was injected with morphine at the immediate time I was injured, and I've been under 9 surgeries with heavy medication. And one of the things that kind of bothered me throughout my rehab is I was looking forward to getting off the drugs eventually, and maybe just focusing on my physical, healing. And I know that their intentions were good, but they were pushing a lot of drugs on me a lot of time. And even though I had a lot of different ailments and felt that I was getting input from other ways and other ways of healing, but because I was such a believer in Western medicine, I kept going back to Route 1. But when I would go to them, they'd say, hey, this is what we'll prescribe. Well, that didn't work last time, and you're still having issues. Well, this should work now. Are you developing an infection? Well, the infection should go away if you take this. Well, really, I know that maybe the infection, it comes from within, and that even though these drugs do work and combat it, it also comes down to having organic foods in your system and being clean and healthy living. And it's not just about just a drug will just clear it. It's like prescribe you things, but it comes down to you taking responsibility for yourself. And it came to a certain point where I had to take responsibility for myself, and I looked into the QXCI and really showed me that what I really needed wasn't drugs, but it was almost a clean homeostasis kind of base of everything being ground zero and allowing me to then go on and take in the information and going from there. And I really have seen a difference that without these drugs, which have personally clouded me, and now that I can, take the information that was provided and really realize, okay, I need to stay away from, heavy metals because of the amount that I've been around in the military from training and combat zones and just third world countries. And this is the information that I should pay attention to, not just take a pill and then work on it.
Most people that have a lot of damage in the neck or nerve or scar tissue or blockage, they'll go to a doctor and chances are they'll get misdiagnosed.
All right, so what I see what the QXCI does is it takes all the information and processes it to look into what is in your system, everything that you've been exposed to, drugs, bacteria, funguses, injuries, how it can calibrate and tell you how your body is literally functioning, what the energy flow is, and that by being able to break it down into very exact issues, then that gives you the answer of what you can do, and you can then easily change that. So if it tells you you're allergic to chalk dust and you're a school teacher, then maybe you're not in the right profession.
When we do the initial test and the therapies, the machine constantly tests the reactance of whatever oscillation we're putting into them. And if it needs something, it'll show up here. And I could say we have some degeneration in your intestines. It's obviously detected an imbalance. So let's go ahead and try and reintroduce the complementing frequency to bring that specific organ up to homeostasis.
You're not going to really know what's going on with the liver completely unless the person was dead and you're available to do an autopsy. With the QXCI, you can actually analyze the liver, its functioning, its enzymes, and what's wrong with the liver before having to make any kind of clinical judgment about how you want to treat the disease.
I made a promise to myself a long time ago that if I could ever afford to do this, to treat people or to find a way to help people that were in similar circumstances like me, that's what I would do. And that's what brings us here today.